Hello, welcome to Prequel, Sequel, Requel, the show where we pick a film or a franchise and give it a prequel, a sequel, and a requel with a panel of comedians and movie-loving experts. Tonight we're doing a classic film, a classic 80s film, Commando with Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's a brilliant film. Recently watched it again, and it really stands up to the test of time. It really does. It's a beautiful piece of work. So without further ado, I'm going to bring in the panelists tonight. First of all, he's here every time. Every week he's here. He comes in. He's got the weight of the world on his shoulders every week. He's a comedian. He's your friend and mine. It's Eddie French.
Oh, sorry, my shoulders. There's all this world weight on them. How you doing, Chris? You all right?
I'm all right. So again, I'll just start an intro and don't think about it. So yeah,
no, really don't.
That's good.
No, that's good. Yes.
I
was just going to say, I echo your sentiment that Commando is a thoroughly enjoyable piece of entertainment. I'm not sure if it holds up, not morally. I'm not sure if it sort of holds up with today's values, but it certainly holds up with the level of entertainment one would hope to receive. So, you know, that's something, definitely.
Yeah, I don't think you can just break into a compound and kill 1,000 people now with a machine gun. It'd be a bit overkill.
It did remind me of the Punisher comics they were putting out around that time, where there would just be a new 1,000 henchmen compound that Frank Castle could just blow away and then be back next month for the next time. So yeah, there is that sort of madness to it, but it is great. Yeah,
cool.
But you're right, we should get in other people.
Yeah, we'll get some more panelists in. Speaking of madness, she's here every week.
Is it Suggs?
It is. It's Suggs. It's your friend of mine. It's Suggs. It's not. It's not. We can't afford Suggs. It's Natalie Smeaton, though. We can't afford Natalie Smeaton because she's priceless.
Oh, God bless you. Priceless.
I bloody saved that one back, didn't I? Then,
You just did. I was very impressed. Yeah. I need to say that I had never seen Commando until I watched it for this, and I absolutely effing loved it. Loved it. Unbelievable from start to finish. Every second of it was just great.
There is a surprising level of charm to it.
Yeah. And it was nice as a lady to be able to look at Arnold Schwarzenegger in a tiny, tiny pair of needlessly tiny shorts and enjoy that moment in a 1990s film, which usually it's the other way around.
Got them little trunks on.
Oh, he did look great, didn't he, in his little teeny trunks?
Yeah. Well, speaking of looking great in teeny trunks,
this one
I like to wait for the intro for me getting there. We've got a special guest, and this week we've pulled out all the stops.
Oh, you are.
What can we say about this man? He's a legend on the Hull comedy scene. We've got him in. No expense spared tonight for this one. He's a legend in his own lifetime. It's a wonderful Gary Jennison.
Yeah, nice.
Whoa.
I've got no pants on, so I can't possibly stand up. But Budgie Smugglers, thank you for sharing with the world. Nice.
We've seen you in all manner of get-ups before, so I thought that'd be a fitting.
I'm one of those prop comedians. You know what I mean? I'm not funny, but I've got loads of stuff that is funny.
Like Carrot Top. you like a British Carrot Top.
Like a buckaroo, do you know what I mean? Like, it's not that funny, but look at this. Like
it's true, the donkey in Buckaroo is never funny, but the stuff you put on him, I get it now. Yeah.
Oh, very good. All right, nice.
You me on jokes actually as well. You wouldn't think so.
How have you been? You're a frontline worker, aren't you, sir?
Oh, yeah. So I've given up the dizzy heights of part-time comedy.
And you've just accepted that it's never coming back, unlike all us saps who are still going, it's coming back. I swear it's coming back this week. I swear we're going to do it.
I bought a diary for 2021 because it's definitely coming back. Yeah.
I do feel like if when I go into work, like if I pass a comedy club, comics going scab, just shouting like random, like I have to get my car armoured just to go into work. I know it's fun, man, but it was not coming in my club again. You know, I just.
I tell you two things we don't have in my stuff, son. Politics and frontline workers. We don't have it in my club. No,
right then. Oh, lovely stuff. Right then, so the show is this tonight. Prequel, sequel, requel. We've picked our film Commando. These guys are our lovely panel. They're going to pitch a prequel, a sequel, and a requel in that order. They all get a pitch each. They get a minute to pitch their movie uninterrupted. And then after, the other panelists can ask them a question, one question to put them on the spot about their pitch. If you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch tonight, thank you very much. Leave your comments and join in with the show. We will read them out, so don't be shy. I'll just put this up here. Look, there we go. We'll get the things moving. There we go. It's all professional now and going.
Right. Is Mr. Lumb. Look at that.
Oh, look at this. You know.
He's got it all. He's got it all.
I've got it all there. It'll slow the stream down in a minute and I'll have to turn it off. So enjoy it while it goes across the bottom of the screen, and then you'll see it just juddering. That's when I have to turn everything, shut it down. It's like a big auxiliary switch, you know, in like National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, where he puts light on and things
Chris
going
is
around.
actually running this off an old iPod Touch.
I am. Right then, so Commando is the film tonight. I'm going to read you, first of all, as I do every week, I'm going to read you the back of the DVD box. It's a long one tonight. I thought we were going to be short, this one. It's a long DVD box, this one. Are you ready for this? I'm going to remind you of what Commando's about if you've not seen it for a while.
I'm ready.
Here we go.
Ready.
Here we go. They don't make them any tougher than Colonel John Matrix, intelligent, physically imposing, an expert in martial arts and the use of combat weaponry. Still armed with the physical skills and knowledge that made him a superb soldier, not a super soldier, superb one. Matrix, now retired, lives under a new identity in rural splendor with his daughter Jenny. Years ago, Matrix's unit ousted the vicious dictator of a South American country and replaced him with a democratically elected president. Now the deposed dictator, General Arias, aided by one of Matrix's former men, has tracked the retired commando down and kidnapped his daughter. To get her back, Matrix must return for one last mission: kill President Velasquez, so that the way will be open for the return to power. That sounds like he's actually going to go do it. That plot. And he don't do it. No. It's a bit weird that. So I was a bit, it was a bit weird.
Also, this is the only example of American troops being sent in to put in a democratically elected leader rather than remove one from a South American country and put in a dictator.
So it's a bit weird there. But before what it doesn't tell you is
science fiction, Chris. Also, what I like is the dictator, the President Velasquez. He goes on to be the dad in Clueless, which is which adds a nice element to both of them, because you can imagine in Commando a teenage girl getting annoyed with him, and you can imagine him ordering death squads in Clueless. So you know it works out pretty nice.
Yeah, good for that bit of trivia there to start the show. So basically, the plot, that was a brief thing of the plot, but there's more to it than that. Basically, all these attachment of men got killed off in the first bit of the film, and Arnie was the only one left in his company. There's a bit of a betrayal by what was his name? Bennett, yeah, Bennett.
Bennett.
And he's and then he goes to get his daughter back. He don't think he's not gonna do the mission at all. He's like, first chance he gets, he clocks the guy out and jumps off the plane, which we'll talk about in a bit, I'm sure. Right then, so let's get cracked on with the prequels straight away tonight. Looking forward to this one. Right then, so Eddie, you're gonna go first with your 1 minute prequel. Cool. I'll get you a timer on the clock on the phone. Here we go. Are you ready for this?
Oh yeah.
Away you go.
1955, East Germany. A young John Matrix lifts some trees and a tractor in a butchness competition. He wins. Everyone turns around at hearing a strange noise. Woo-woo-woo-woo! It's only androgynous piano rocker Little Richard. They should call him Big Richard, Matrix says. Everyone laughs as much as the state permits. Little Richard is here to cause bother and introduce rock and roll to all the communists, which was the most shocking thing that had ever happened to Matrix until he later on sees a picture of Boy George. His armored piano turns on Matrix and his sister Dot. John punches two cars together to make a gun and opens fire, which sets fire to his gun. Little Richard swings round and sings the names of some women. They both fight until they're both bare-chested, and then John #NoHomos him into the Berlin Wall. He then pulls him out of the Berlin Wall and escapes through the hole into West Berlin.
Okay. Right then. You can ask a question each, Gary and Nat, about Eddie's film there.
I'm a little bit. I just need a second to take that in.
So
breakneck speed, my one. Yep.
Right.
So essentially, my question is: so he gets through the wall, he ends up in West Berlin. Is that when he realizes that there is more to life than he had previously thought, and then defects to America to join the army?
Well, he clearly defects to the West at some point, because he says when he's having breakfast or when he's having sandwiches with his daughter, he says, "Oh, when I was in East Germany." He doesn't specify Berlin. I've put that in there for fun, but he specifies East Germany. So he did grow up in the communist bit, but at some point has clearly defected well enough to get quite high in the US military. So yes,
and did that by punching somebody through the Berlin Wall. Essentially,
he pulled Little Richard back out the Berlin Wall. Then he looked through, and then he saw through. So he goes through, and then clearly at some point after that, he decides that whilst flamboyant entertainment isn't for him, the rest of what the West has to offer is definitely not the decadent lies he's been told by his comrades on the other side.
Does Little Richard get back? Does he make it back in your reality?
Nothing can stop Little Richard. He doesn't even go out of tune while Matrix is punching him. He's just a force of nature, so he's fine. He's fine.
Amazing. That's good. That's all I needed to know. Thank you.
He just sort of turns around there and goes, "Well, you just had to say," and then he goes off and records another album.
Okay, Gary, have we got a question?
Richard.
We got a question.
Yeah, I just wondered if there was sort of like any sort of songs that they'd play. Like, did Little Richard come up? You know, is any of his famous numbers with the Matrix help him to inspire these? Or
yes, there'll be, got a girl named John Matrix. She knows just what to do. Bamalama Bamaloo. Matrix, Atrix, Datrix, Hatrix. I imagine that will be one of his rhyming songs. Nice. And I imagine hate to see you, Commando, go, go, go.
Fair.
Okay. Okay, right then. If that answers your questions, we'll move on.
Oh, I can't see any doubt on that.
Now it's your turn for your prequel.
Okay.
I'll put your time on the clock. Away you go.
Right. Thank you. Matrix and Bennett join the super hard mega tough Marine Squadron at the same time. It's really hard to get in. You have to prove you're tough by fighting 17 bears trained in unarmed combat at once, punch the face off of a blue whale, and walk the runway in a pair of tiny, tiny trunks and still look good. They are the buffest, they are the best, and they are the best of the best. On their first mission, Matrix gets a promotion, the one that Bennett wanted, by kicking the shit out of and then blowing up an island full of communists because America. Bennett, infuriated, no longer confident enough to wear his tiny trunks, vows revenge and waits for the perfect moment to strike back at the Matrix. There you go.
Cool. Okay. Right then. So Gary and Eddie, you can ask Nat a question on her epic.
Will Bennett be wearing a chainmail vest?
He will always have some sort of chainmail or string vest or accompanying garment. So we might see him when he first joins and, they have to look really smart in the uniform. His beret might be what's the string or the chainmail. But then later on, when they're showing the montage of them fighting the 17 bears at once, then obviously he'll be in like his drawstring vest. And when he has to punch the face off the blue whale, he'll be in some little like string trunks. Because at that point, he still feels very confident about his body. It's only Matrix getting the promotion that knocks his confidence in his body and makes him ultra violent.
That is a shame, isn't it?
It's a shame,
That is a warning against toxic masculinity, you see. That's what that is.
Exactly, yeah. And, to say that he was wearing little string trunks, everything stayed in them, which I think that's a feat in itself, if we're honest.
It is, but I wouldn't want them to rust.
Yeah.
That's an upsetting thought. But it just goes to show the patriarchy damages men as much as it does women.
Indeed, yeah, it's very sad. It's very sad. He had a bright future.
Parable for our times.
Bright future. And nobody ever thinks about the effect this has on the bears, the whales, who are trained by the military themselves to become a part of this process.
I mean,
but
forget men and women, it's bears and whales that have suffered the most under the patriarchy, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Sad times.
Well, thank you for raising it in entertainment. I think that's valid. It's important.
Well, we all know that if entertainers can do anything, it is to raise things on a social media platform and sing a song about it, because that's what makes a real difference.
Oh, unaccompanied, not in tune.
Right then, Gary, have you got a question for Nat?
I mean, she's answered possibly everything that I could think of. I mean, to be honest, but I kind of want to know, what did kind of the two ends of the spectrum there? How did they get up to whale and bear fighting? And did they try did the short shrink? Did they try knee length, then Bermuda and then work the way up? What was
I like wetsuit, sort of like 3/4 length.
Yeah, with the full clothes. Yeah. This is really bad for it chafes when I'm whacking the bear. So you just
I see what you're saying, but part of the everybody knows, if you want to get into the, how did I put it, super hard mega tough Marines squad, which is one up from the Marines, you have to, everyone knows that the uniform is either a uniform or tiny shorts, and there's no in between. So they go into the squad being prepared for that. So that is one thing that I will say. But you are absolutely right, they do start with smaller animals. So we start with goldfish. If they can take a goldfish, we go to a Pomeranian or a Shih Tzu. If they can take a couple of them, then we move it up. So eventually they've got to the bears, but there's quite a menagerie. There's an ostrich. There's one point when they have to take a chicken out for dinner. There's a lot of quite subtle layers to the animal violence.
Bennett being Australian, is he any sort of outback? Is it kangaroo boxing, or is that?
Well, kangaroos have got their own Marines, so they didn't want to be a part of this. But they do punch a koala to start with.
Yeah.
Right.
But they only punched the koala for giving One Direction syphilis. Or some STD. It might not have been syphilis or gonorrhea or something. But does every time they take out one of the increasingly harder animals, does someone go, "Hey, what
is this
happened?"
another? Whoa! You've had your question.
All right.
Is it just a statement, Eddie?
Do you see what I mean, Gary?
A statement?
Do you know what I mean, Gary? I've got to keep track of them.
I was checking something.
It's fact checking. That is different.
Well, you check yourself, sister, instead. How about that?
I don't know which one of us you were talking to then.
You?
Oh, man.
Oh, fair enough then.
I know we've had the parish council this week, but I didn't want it all.
Yeah, you have no authority here, Christopher Lumb.
I'm going to change my name.
I'm on MS Teams. Just go for a laugh.
Right, I'm changing my name to Eddie's iPad. Right.
If only we could get those viewing figures there, we'd be laughing.
Oh,
I mean, maybe it's all a ruse. They just did it, going, "We're going to get them with this. We'll go viral with this."
Well, to be honest, they did look like they could be the next series. Every single member of the panel of Gogglebox.
Yeah.
So it's going to be the next series. All of the old ones out of it. The rest are just going to be that council.
The daft thing is, though, after that, they will all have book deals and series. That's the trouble with it. How things work now.
That is true. Yeah. That is depressing.
They'll be on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here next year. Mark my words, all 4 of them. Just because they know they'll all kick off. That's what I
can't wait for Loose Women where it all kicks off. Like it's heyday like that. Where's Kev? Where is he?
One of them will be on Celeb Bake Off.
Yeah.
Doing drugs.
Yeah.
They'll all be on it. Right then, let's keep going. Prequels. Gary, it's your turn. You ready for this?
I'm just going to sort of what's the word? I mean, I'll digress a little bit, but I just wanted to kind of give you a bit of the flavour of where I was coming from. It with this sort of the 80s voice over guy type thing.
Oh, you're going to do a trailer for us?
No, I'm not that good. Fucking hell. Do you know what I mean? I know my legend, but You know what I mean? I'm doing this for free. What fucking proper voiceovers? Fucking pay me. Jesus. Sorry. I know we talked about that beforehand. Don't mention it. Whatever. No. Right.
Right, so, no pressure then. No pressure. Here we go. Gary's trailer. Here we go.
The backstory. So, this is the prequel, right?
Yeah.
Discover how the former brothers in arms ended so far apart. Meet Bennett before he went off the rails. Matrix before he was a good guy. So basically, the prequel is, I want to find out the backstory to these unknown mercenaries, like what made him so violent, like what caused Bennett to go off the rails, what caused Matrix to sort of go full circle of being, a trained killer, all his life. And I found that the perfect backstory for this, what happened, and it's not really been talked about in Hollywood before, but basically Bennett and Matrix worked in one of the first fast food outlets. So I guess a little bit like Nando's, but it was kind of on military training school camp. What happened? Bennett kind of it was getting on well, and Matrix, because he'll do everything exactly as he's told. He sort of didn't add any. There was no, bit of oomph about his cooking. So it was just like fries in, out. Do you know what I mean? Like do the burgers. So the burgers, like one, flip the patty, nothing. There was no like herbs. There was no, no flair with it. So Bennett got pissed off about this. So he decided to come up with his own fast food, Bennett's Burgers, a Matrix meat shop. And then they kind of just went from there, really. So there were the kind of friends. This goes back to when they were about 17. So just as military school, and then it all kicks off, really. They had kind of in the Commando, the film, they have a taste for blood. In this, they have a taste for flavored chicken. So the Matrix kind of develops a passion for just killing. Really, he just goes he goes off his tits. Just on, Bennett's holding his shit together at this point. He's cooking burgers, chilling out, selling well. To be fair, the lads like him on the camp, and one of the Major's favourite things is one of Bennett's burgers. And then just like, I guess a bit like Nat's thing, Matrix kind of does a Bennett, really flips, and he just starts cooking all sorts of shit. Like, what do you mean I'm boring? So like. You know what I mean? He starts fucking doing random stuff. So yeah, like hedgehog pie and stuff like that. And then it develops into this crazy relationship, this rivalry. It develops, and then they go off and they forget all of that, and then they go off to war. But there's still this beef about the beef, I guess, about the days of the meat rivalry. So that's where I am. Kind of like Nando's, like I was thinking about. Nando's wasn't invented around 1987, so it was after the film. So I shit out there, to be fair. I've done my research. So that's what I was kind of thinking, like pre-Nando army camp days.
Yep. Cool. Right. Oh, okay. Yep. Nat, Eddie, ask away with your question each.
I'm going to ask the question that I wasn't allowed to ask Nat, because I had already asked one. I'm not playing the victim. But
well, you mentioned it again, so maybe you are. I don't know.
Yeah, I just wanted to contextualize things.
You really could have just asked the question without saying any of that.
I mean, I could, but
because we didn't hear the question, we wouldn't have known it with this question.
I think Bennett's the ghost of Bennett's still in this room. I think he's just getting really going off.
Go on. Ask your question.
In Commando, we are privy to a handful of really, really plump and juicy post-murder one-liners from Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Of course, yeah.
He's dead tired, all that kind of thing.
Let off some steam, all of that.
Yeah, let off some steam. Don't bother him. He has just been recently murdered by me with a knife. All those kind of really witty, subtle things that he says. What is he going to sort of do that when people finish their dinner? Like,
I guess while he's flavouring it, because people think he's boring, like Matrix wanted to just show us, it's like, pass me the peri-peri, that sort of stuff. So, yeah, I guess he's very direct in his sort of like...
This chicken is peri-peri dead. That kind of thing.
exactly.
So I see. So he's trying to spice up his chat as well as his food.
Yeah, that's it.
And that's a sort of a hangover from that. He can't help but
it's
sprinkle
like,
in these little bombos into
yeah.
his,
He used to get
nice.
real pissed off when he'd do the food, and then people would wander off, and he'd be like, "Somewhere, somehow, you've got to pay." That's kind of yeah.
Excellent. Good. I'm
All right.
Cool.
Oh, it certainly does.
Nah.
I couldn't help but pick up there a hint that you laid down for us that there might have been some potentially human meat served in these cooking.
You're talking sort of like hot dogs, sort of sausages type thing.
When before Arnie became good and Bennett became evil, was Arnie essentially serving up humans, or did Bennett start serving up humans?
Well, this is interesting, actually. Yeah, it's in my notes.
It certainly fits his profile that I've written.
Yes, but basically, yes. In one of his interviews about would he be a cannibal,
that's when the cannibalism started.
I guess, it's just the Matrix's meat shop, innit? So it just developed, and much like your lust from fish to bears and whales. I guess where do you stop? Do you know what I mean? You start, Bennett's doing the burgers, he's doing the normal stuff, nice patty, bit of flavouring, and he wants to, obviously rival Bennett. So I guess it. I mean, to be honest, like the mercenaries, the green berets, small armies, a lot of disappearing and murders, isn't there, in the film, and a lot of killing. So I mean, what's the
got a lot of, to choose from, hasn't he?
A few of the dorms were,
and they're army men, so even though they're in a rival army, they'll probably quite fit lean meat. So I would imagine it would make some nice food.
At this point, they were the same army, weren't they? So they're all mates at this point. Before
it would put you roughly around the time of Vietnam as well, just judging by that, because he's supposed to be 35.
Yeah,
and you put him at like 17, so that's like half his age. 17 away from 1986 or whatever. That would have been the height of Vietnam.
Yeah, because
when a lot of people went mad.
Yeah, they're classified, aren't they, Eddie? So I mean, who knows? To be fair,
he's got a folder, but it's got like the tape on it. We can't open that.
It's got a lot of ketchup on it and a lot of barbecue sauce on it. Like,
it's just sealed
for your eyes only. Right then, cool. Okay, I think that's all the questions. Right, we're at the end of that round of the prequel, so it's time to vote. Now, I always do a little recap. For you, everybody's very quiet online. Nobody's commented, so we'll see if anybody comes on to vote. They might do. Right then, so I'll give you a quick recap of what we heard. So prequels for Commando. Eddie's was about John Matrix. Basically, he's in a butch competition. Little Richard's there. He smashes metal together to build a gun, and then open fires. Both of them to fight. And then Arnie punches Little Richard through the Berlin Wall, and then he goes through the hole into West Berlin.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Nats was Matrix and Bennett. They're both Marines together. The fight 17 bears. Knock the face off a blue whale.
Punch the face off the whale. Yeah.
Punch the face off the blue whale. Sorry, yeah. How could I get that wrong? And then they have a runway competition in the tightest shots you've ever seen. Matrix gets a promotion that Bennett were after as well, because Matrix blew up an island of communists. So Bennett wants revenge because Matrix got
the promotion.
That. Yeah. Good. Gary's was Bennett and Matrix. This is the backstory. They used to work in a fast food, not a restaurant, but it were on the military camp. So a bit of a pop-up shop before they existed properly. Right. Matrix has got no flair. He's just like slamming burgers together. But Bennett's taking a bit more care over his. He goes into business on his own with Bennett's Burgers, and Matrix goes in with Matrix Meat Shop. So it all kicks off. The Ratchet's throats. Matrix gets a passion for killing things, and he basically flips out and starts cooking anything he wants. Whereas Bennett's a bit more chilled. Everybody likes his burgers, like the main guy loves them. And then they go off to war. And I don't know if I missed out off the end there, but probably not. Right, so we get a vote each. We get a vote each in the room. You can all vote for one. Let's do it. I'm gonna vote straight away for Gary's, and I'll tell you why. Because
Tell us for why.
I think it was quite well thought out actually, and had a lot to it.
I have peaked. To be fair, I told you this is. I've won one, and I'm probably finished now. I can go out. I'll just leave it.
All right. Thanks for coming.
I'll be quiet. I'll listen.
What's somebody else voting for?
I'm going to vote for Nats, I think, because I think it was tonally the most in keeping with the original.
Right.
Thank you. And just because Little Richard has made an appearance for 2 weeks in a row now, but I mean, disappointed Eddie that he didn't sing twins, but
God, he was into.
Yeah, but because I like Little Richard myself, I think this time I'm going to vote for Eddie.
Oh, well,
okay.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Right then, cool. Someone did not voted.
Yeah, can you vote for yourself?
Yeah, of course you can. No, you can't. You can't vote for yourself, I'm afraid.
Nah.
It's one of the rules. Oh, our friend Bob's here. Hello, Bob.
How are you doing?
Hello, Bob.
Thanks for joining us.
You missed
The answer to that is the prequels.
You missed. If you want to throw a random vote out, Bob, you can do.
I think we'll know who that'll be for.
Have you not voted, Gary, yet?
No, I'm just waiting to see what Bob, and then see if I've still got a chance of winning.
Oh.
I'm going to vote for the Camp Fest. That is Eddie's. I like it.
That is anything Eddie does.
All right.
Yeah.
Is Eddie, as in Eddie's.
No, I don't mind.
Cool.
I like
I thought yours was called Camp Fest, Gary. Your story with the fast food camp thing.
It was Commando's, man. Was.
Oh, we got Bob voting. Just a random vote. Nat,
Thank you, Bob. Thank you.
We'll include it. We'll include it. Right then. So that means at the end of the prequels, Eddie and Nat have tied.
Oh.
Well, you know what? It's all to play for tonight. It's all to play for. As we go into the sequels. Right then. Right. Sequels. Nat, you're up first, please, for your sequel. We'll get straight on. No messing tonight. No messing.
No.
There we go. Come on.
Okay, so this one, just before I begin reading it, this one, if we remember the end of the film, his commando, Matrix goes, "This is my last time," and the commando goes, "Until the next time," and then he gets on the plane. Yeah, so with the commanding officer's words ringing in his ears, Matrix goes home and tries to rebuild his life with his daughter and new girlfriend. He doesn't get the chance to enjoy it for long. His commander turns up again. This time, the president has been kidnapped. A good one, not an orange what's-it one. And the White House has been taken over by hippies demanding love, peace, and action against climate change. This makes Matrix furious, and he vows to take back the White House from those peace-loving, utopian hippie community and their anti-capitalist, un-American ideas. Rowing up to the fence in his trunks, he didn't need to, but he looks fit. He blows the fuck out of everything, shoots all the dirty, unarmed hippies, and finds the president in a very tense sharing circle with the leader of the hippies in the basement, who is, you've guessed it, Bennett. Being skewered at the end of the last movie made him realize the ultimate, oh my God, I've lost where I am. Being skewered at the end of the last movie made him realize ultimately it wasn't worth it. But Arnie kills him anyway, and then wears his skin.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
I wanted to keep the theme. There was so much testosterone in watching Commando that I felt I felt like I'd grown a penis by the just watching it.
So did I. When I finished watching Commando, I thought, I bet Nat has a penis.
Yeah, I did, Eddie, for about 27 minutes.
Yeah.
Right, cool. Okay. Eddie and Gary, you can ask Nat a question.
The question on everyone's lips surely has got to be, if Bennett survived being impaled on a steel pipe, I mean, is the possibilities are endless, aren't they? With the whole franchise now, if he can keep coming back to life.
Well, if you think about it, he did come back in this film, didn't he? Because his boat blew up at the start.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's
And
he
it
made
never
the sterner
explained.
stuff.
It never explained how he got out of that. Because one minute he was just stood at the wheel, and then the ball went boom, and he didn't have a scratch on him. So you're like, what?
Exactly, yeah, not even a burn.
It's all that chainmail.
Yeah.
It's really, really protective.
It's all them seamen he was surrounded by.
I still can't. Hey, I still think Bennett is a bit like Kenny Everett. Whenever I watch Commando, I still when it's all that killing going on, oh, Danny, the best possible tire with an Australian. Can't get out.
No, he is coded quite gay, Bennett. He's like they really sort of laboured the point that he's the bad guy. He's doing it in a sort of gay way as well.
I mean, it's a good job they had the plot about the president and all that in it, because if it were just the fact that Bennett were annoyed with Arnie, it'd been an entirely different film. Because when I was watching, I'm thinking, what is the plot? And then when they heard about the president thing, I was like, oh right, okay, there is there's a reason for doing this. It's not just it's not just he's mad at him. I was like, because at one point I thought
there's the annoyed guy in the white suit stood next to Bennett. I think he's important. He's
It was such a caricature as well, wasn't he? But anyway,
he was, and there were 3 stages of him. He was a lovely, peaceful fisherman, and then he was an evil gay. Well, clearly evil gay maniac who loved blood, and got really, really excited at the end when he got to fight Matrix
with a knife.
And then I thought his next incarnation could be like a peace loving hippie who just wants to get the president in the sharing circle.
That is one of the most sort of homoerotically charged scenes where he's like holding up this huge long knife and he's going, "You want to put this in me and twist, don't you?" Like, yeah, I do. I want to do that. That's what we're like. Yeah, come on, drop your gun. It's just, I mean,
let's do it man to man as well. I think it's one of the lines.
It's
let's go.
I mean, for people who thought that the volleyball scene in Top Gun wasn't camp enough, this is it's honestly, like Women in Love. It's ridiculous.
I'm amazed none of you picked up on that for your prequel and had the volleyball stuff in that. I mean, but anyway.
It is.
There you go.
Where did we get to questions for Nat?
Yeah, can I go in for my question? I think just because, I mean, the idea of the sort of the first film is that they've run out of money, basically, haven't they? But because that it came out around the same time as Rambo 2, First Blood. And they wanted a bigger body count. So I think that's what kind of, as they're going through the last scene, and then they've gone, well, we're probably going to have to just end this in a corridor now. We're going to have to do it like a boiler room. So we've got money left for. Do you remember that fucking massive scene? There's that they're all flying off the mansion out. They're like,
it's every Hollywood stunt you can imagine. There's people falling. I'm amazed there's not people on horseback just going falling off.
I really like the the people who are clearly acrobats.
Yeah,
there's an explosion and they do sort of like a full on sort of like a spin flip in the air, and it's like. They should land like that. It's just really, really weird.
Traditional cardboard cutouts right at the back as well. It's like one of them, you just see it.
Some of them are dummies. In the scene where he goes, "You'll know," when she's like, "How do I know when I break my radio silence?" And then he blows up every fucking building and a tower.
Yeah.
They were clearly mannequins stood.
Also, when he did that, I thought, what if your daughter were in that building?
Yeah, I know.
He didn't know. It's not like he tracked her and went, "Oh, she's in there. I can see the heat signature." Nope, just go in and blow the fuck out of everything. It's like, I mean, one of the bad guys could have come out and went, "You just kill your daughter." And he went, "What?"
I'm not deviating from the plan. The plan was blow up these buildings and go in there.
Yeah.
Magic bullets as well. How many times did he get fired out and he never got it?
Why do they always give him these kids' names as well? That like Chamey out of Jingle All the Way and Chenny. Jenny.
Wasn't she before Forrest Gump? It was.
While we're on the subject of names, I don't know if you remember the old Bavarian name Matrix.
Well, that must be his code word that he's code name,
something like that. But the other guy's Bennett. That's a real name.
Lenny Bennett. His name is Lenny Bennett.
Len Bennett.
I mean Bennett's Burgers. Do you mean is that?
Yeah. Bennett's Burgers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matrix of the Matrix.
As in the Matrix. How does this sequel keep up with all that sort of that gore and all of the stuff we just described then about the action, that definitely memorable one-liners and all of them, killings and stuff and that, because obviously Matrix turned his back on violence and he's been coaxed into it. Bennett, what happened
to the point where he's feeding a deer out of his hand?
Yeah, that was a particularly beautiful moment, wasn't it?
Absolutely stunning.
That was like a catalogue picture, wasn't it? That bit. That was the only bit in the whole film where I went,
"Oh, fuck's that?"
It's like, I just thought it's hard to get hold of a deer. Unless you want it. That's what I thought. You can't just go grab a deer, can you? In the wild,
She was the original Cindy, the deer. They had a really horrible sex scene where it got cut out, and then they thought actually because his wife was going to be in it, and then thought no, we can't have it.
Hey, again, the prequel nobody touched on where his wife was. Who was his wife? Mm-hmm. I was surprised. I'm surprised.
She was.
I think we were all just too excited about the clearly homoerotic relationship between Bennett and.
I think it was like Phantom Menace. There was no mother.
I think Bennett was the
mother.
He
was created by the Force.
That's the source of all of their animosity. It's just alimony. That's all it is.
Yeah. Did Bennett's dad own a hotel as well? He used to dress as his mum.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. Maybe Bennett's trigger is when he takes him on Judge Judy to get his back child support payments. That's what it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Matrix goes on Judge Judy with Bennett, and
I carried that girl for 9 months, and I can't get to see her at all. I want to feed a deer with her. You had your chance to be part of the family, Bennett. You lost it.
I've got no idea where we are now with it.
Well, in answer to Gary's question, there is still a lot of uber violence, and because it's directed at peace-loving, anti-capitalist hippies, it's even more exciting because they don't fight back. So, they're not firing their magic bullets that never hit him. They're just pleading with him and trying to give him flowers and essentially trying to put flowers around his neck. Yeah. And they keep saying things like, you can't shoot me until you're holding the shooting conch, and then when they try to hand him it, he smashes it out of the hand and says, show this, and then shoots him in the face. So it's still going to be violent.
That motion has been shelled.
And the trigger isn't going to be any sort of a kidnap because they're hippies. The trigger's probably going to be something like he sees that they've set up a yurt, sauna and plunge pool on the White House lawn, and that just tips him over the edge because even though in Eastern Europe they love a good sauna and plunge pool, that doesn't happen in God's green America. No. So yeah,
they're like trying to feed the president granola. And
good answers. Right then, should we move on?
Yeah, that was long.
Yeah, it was. Gary, it's your turn for your sequel, please.
Right then. Okay, so I'll kind of give you a good backstory. This is where we want to see what happened next, don't we? Basically, as in that's what sequel is. I know this.
Yeah, you kind of just that's fine. That's fine.
No, well, that's two people watching, just in case they didn't know. If they're watching,
they know. If they're watching and they stayed, they know what the show is. If they come on and go,
this. What the fuck's this?
It's a Requel where they go, "What's that?" And you go, well, prequel, sequel.
They'd have to Google it, to be fair. They'd have to Google it. I won't lie.
Right, go on.
So, my sequel is basically, I want to find out. So, you've got Jenny and Cindy, haven't you? Like Nat said, right at the end. So, Kirby has arrived with his military detachment and then said, right, come on, we're going again. Let's do it. And then you think, great, there's going to be a sequel. It's definitely going to be like Rambo 7 in it. There's going to be loads of commandos. But no. It all finishes in that first one. The sequel is basically is where Cindy. Do you remember when in the Commando they break into a military hardware store, surplus store?
Yeah.
He knows his shit, doesn't he? Obviously, after all the violence stops, there's a lot of surplus. So he opens his own military weaponry store. I guess like a Commando shop, some might say. like a surplus store. So him and Jenny and Cindy run it. He's sort of going, chilling out a little bit, and also as well on the side. Because I was starting the film was random. Like I didn't really know what a seaplane. I didn't know you don't see them enough, do you, in 80s films? So what he does as well, because of them skills, he has a little canoe business on the side of his surplus store. So the nice little lake, hiring out canoes. The chilled life again, and then basically, we found out, Bennett has a son. Bennett wants to take it. He's going to go fuck all them canoes up. Oh yeah. So he's back. And basically, because the same guy wrote a lot of these films, Commando, Die Hard, Judge Dredd, it's basically the plot of Die Hard. It's like breaks into, and what happens basically, Bennett's son is he disguises himself as a high-end sort of like businessman, and then he contacts Matrix and says, I want to buy in like a fake accent. You can't tell he's Australian at all. And he wants to buy and purchase all of the canoes and all of the surplus. And obviously Matrix, Jenny and Cindy think this is great. They can like go buy more seaplanes and travel the world, which is what they really want to do. Don't be selling, ex-military shit anymore. They've had enough of all that. And basically then the coup goes to the meeting with all these documents and to hand over the merchandise, and then that's it. All kicks off in the corporate building. That's it. So he goes there and realizes, shit, you look a bit like your gay dad, and then realizes, shit, this is Bennett. So and then kind of like he mentions, like, not only did you fuck up my dad, you fucked me because I tried making burgers and they weren't as good as my dad, so I now have to go into the crime business. No one was buying his burgers, Bennett Jr.'s burgers, and that's how it all kicked off. It's basically essentially like a really nice National Lampoon sort of setup, and then it kicks off into like Die Hard. It all goes crazy shit.
Okay, cool. Nat and Eddie, you can ask Gary a question each on his sequel.
Is the end fight going to be 1 as spectacular and 2 as homoerotic? And just as a little side note, randomly Cindy has one line right at the beginning when they all get in the car where she's like, I'm gonna have a 7 advanced karate class, and I'm like, does she, or is she saying that to scare him? So like, and will Cindy get involved? Is she actually good at advanced karate?
Well, funny you should mention that, because it's on
his map.
I've got my map. Yeah, so that was kind of the backstory as well. So as well as the selling canoes and all this military stuff, Cindy's taking lessons from the Matrix, as he's now like referred. He wears glasses and long and hangs around with some strange computer nerds. Weird, but that's another film, I think. Anyway. So all sort of she's trained and she knows how to start that. Obviously in the first film she can't even fire a bazooka, can she? So Matrix was a bit embarrassed by this. If I'm going to shag it, at least now to like fire a grenade off or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Like if I'm going to do stuff with my tongue and fingers, at least now to like kill someone with a. Well, isn't it? Like if you're going to do like, come on, I give you wouldn't.
I mean, she did blow up that van in the first film.
But she got it wrong. Yeah, that's how you escaped.
For a second go, I think that's pretty impressive. I mean, I'd have probably just taken out a couple of buildings on a busy main road.
Yeah. and then to answer your question, it says she knows the shit basically, so she can look at when all this is kicking off. She can look after Jenny, no problem.
Okay.
And basically what happens in the big sort of like, the corporate building, it basically blows up. But what they realise is she's a bit of a fuck up, isn't she, as well as knowing this stuff. She's blown the wrong building up. So the end scene to take part in a lift shaft.
Okay, so, brilliant.
Yeah. So, but obviously, speed days, pre that sort of stuff. Basically, I had a fight a lift shaft, and I mean, I can tell you how it ends if you want, but I'll leave that to you. I don't know.
Did he get
pierced? No, he disguised himself as a shift maintenance man, and then
shame.
The night, but there's rubble and everything.
Right. Okay.
Right. Okay. Eddie, have you got a question?
I mean, I don't. It's
alright.
the short answer. It's all very cut and dry. I think everything's cinched up nicely.
That's fine then. We'll move on to your sequel then.
Oh,
do it.
I'm into that. Thanks for that. That was either I did a decent job or it was that shit. There's no comment.
No, you're very thorough, Gary. You're very thorough.
Yeah.
Very thorough.
No, sometimes questions don't need to be asked because there are no glaring points that need sorting out. So no, it's nothing to do with it being bad. If anything, it means you've been very thorough. Yeah.
Thanks. That's what
Very
someone. Hey, I'm going.
Right, here we go. Come on then. Sequel time. Let's do it.
It wasn't the last time. The military are back for him. There have been rumors that President Reagan is going to be approached by a guy who's a bit, you know. Given that Matrix managed to
written it in crayon.
Yeah. Given that Matrix managed to puncture a guy who was a bit, you know, they need him more than ever. He's told to bring his daughter Jenny, as every time she fancies one of the celebrity pop star boys, they always turn out to be a bit, you know. So no violence has been threatened, but just like real life, where he ignored the AIDS crisis and considered it only to be a gay disease, Ronald Reagan hates the queer community and doesn't want them near him. John follows Reagan around, killing anyone less butch than himself, John Matrix. These include a man with glasses, a man near a flower, a man enjoying some music, and the film's ultimate villain, Boy George, whom he calls Girl George. This ends in an enormous fight where Jenny is stood next to John Matrix as she holds the belt taut on the large firearm that he uses, shooting down anyone less masculine than himself, all the while Reagan shouting, yeah, kill them all, here, who am I? What's going on? Whose trousers are these? Who is president? Is it me? Oh, duh, didn't remember.
Okay, quite a
pretty dark view on
fucking hate Reagan.
America.
quite
Yeah.
a political.
Oh shit!
I mean, it's great for this comedy show, though.
I love that. I love it.
Yeah, it's good.
It's all right.
Political humour.
My next one's funnier.
All right, okay. Any questions for Eddie, Gary, and Nat?
Straight away.
Go for it.
I'm in with one straight away. So, does Boy George have a song in it, and does he get to sing the song and finish it before he's killed?
Well, it's his most famous song, and he does sing it as he's being shot by Matrix, but it turns into quite a haunting sort of, do you really want to hurt me? Because Girl George has used his gaydar to sort of look in and see that bit in Matrix that is just irresistibly attracted to Bennett, whom he did, let's face it, fully impale on a hard, long object.
Let's be honest, he penetrated him, didn't he? Let's be honest.
He absolutely did. I mean, this was all there in the first film. We all saw it. We all know what happened.
Film.
So Do You Really Want to Hurt Me is sung, but it means, do you really want to hurt me, or are you angry at yourself because you haven't accepted yourself yet?
Right, beautiful.
Okay.
Lovely answer. Thank you.
In, yeah.
Cool. Gary, have you got a question?
And then he does Karma Chameleon because it's a banger.
That's on the end credits.
Yeah.
Done by Arnie, though.
Yeah. Karma Chameleon.
No, Arnie. You set yourself up every week, man.
The fifth time I've done the voice this week.
I know, but I wait for that golden opportunity and I get you.
I thought it was African anyway. I mean,
Right.
it's all racist, so it doesn't matter. Right, so there's the one question. Your poor
I didn't
accent.
hear what you said, so it might have been racist, Gary.
Yeah, but that's not racist.
No, I never
It's a nice get out of jail free card, isn't it?
I said Eddie's voice was sounding more South African than Austrian rather than more racist. I didn't say something like, "Wait, that's racist." Hey! Listen, eventually, like you. No, none of that.
Have you got a question?
I've got many questions.
Oh.
Audience.
Well, apparently you're only allowed one round these parts.
Yeah.
Well, no, I guess. Let me just look at the official prequel sequel rulebook. Our guests are allowed as many questions as they want because they're our guests.
Good. Fuck you, Eddie.
That told us, Eddie.
No, I'm kidding.
I don't know what I've done wrong this week.
Nothing to me.
Sorry, Gary. Yeah, please do ask away.
One of my famous things about Boy George is he famously appeared in an episode of the A-Team where Mr. T declares him, I love Boy George. That was a really bad. That was me doing an impression of Eddie being racist.
That was brilliant. That impression, Gary. Well done for doing that impression.
I know it's terrible. Anyway,
Fantastic.
So my question is because of that. Is what other I want to know, like the question. What other cameos? So what, Reagan obviously is the president. He was an actor. You've got Boy George, who's been in a few films as well, and the A-Team.
Yeah.
What other cameos? What other famous people are in your people?
There's going to be quite a funny bit where because he's out to kill everyone less butch than him. There's a bit where he turns around and he points a gun directly into the face of Dolph Lundgren, but then he takes a moment and goes, sorry, as you were, and just lets him carry on with his day. And then he does like then Dolph Lundgren does a no-handed cartwheel over a car and runs off.
I wonder why. When you said hands, I was just thinking hand job. I was like, I don't need to say that.
He does a no-handed hand job. He invented it. People don't give Dolph Lundgren enough credit for inventing the no-handed hand job. People talk about his martial arts, about his acting, about all sorts, but never that. And I think that's so we're going to see in the X-rated cut there will be a no-handed hand job performed by Dolph Lundgren.
Okay, cool. Right. Did you have another question, Gary, or was that?
No, I think that suffices. I think we can't top that, can we?
No.
I certainly can't with an answer. No.
Right then, so let's get voting. Right, vote online if you want to join in. I'm going to give you a quick recap of what you've just heard. So the sequels for Commando are as follows. Nats was Matrix. I've put Matrix tries to what? Hang on a minute. President has been kidnapped. Here we go.
Yes.
Right, the commander comes back. He tells him that the president's been kidnapped. Right? Yes. And there's hippies in the White House. Yes. So he rose up to the fence of the White House. There's Matrix. Blows up everything. And it turns out the leader of the hippies is Bennett. He's back. He didn't die. The film finishes with Arnie wearing Bennett's skin.
Kills him and wears his skin.
Well, I hope he killed him before he
lotion on its skin.
I'll have that. Look at that.
Just a flayed man.
Yeah. God.
All the way through.
Yeah.
Dead, right?
Gary's was right. All of the characters, Jenny, Cindy, Matrix, they open a weapons shop with the surplus, military surplus stuff. Then they've also got a canoe business on the side and seaplanes to take people out for day trips and things like that. Then Bennett's son comes for revenge for his dad dying twice. Bennett's son though disguises himself as a businessman and says he wants to buy all the equipment off the store, and they're like, "Oh, great, this is great." So they go to a building to sort this out, and that's where it all kicks off when you get the plot of Die Hard. It ends in a lift shaft with them fighting each other. Absolutely. So it's set before Speed, so Speed can't sue.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Eddie's was he's called back into the military. Is Matrix. President Reagan says he needs Matrix to help him sort out a what. Matrix decides to kill anyone who's not butch because that's his way. Boy George is in it, and he sings a song.
Do you really want to hurt me?
Do you really want to hurt me? Yeah. Okay. Cool.
And then Arnie sings "Karma Chameleon" over the end. And if people want little Richard can go twins in the middle of it as well.
This is all extra stuff you didn't talk about in your pitch. You can't. Your pitch is over.
Disregard this.
You know the
jury.
rules. You know the rules.
All right.
Within the evidence.
You know they've done this show so many times, Gary. They know the rules by now, and they're just trying to
trick me out because I'm new.
Yeah, they're trying to trick you. You know, they think nobody's going to say, "Oh, well, that's why I have to step in and sort it out."
Yeah.
Right. Let's get voting. You can vote online as well for your favourites, please. What have we got?
I think this time, just because I love a good revenge story, I'm going to vote for Gary.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
You want one?
I'm going to vote for Nats because the bit that got me was him rowing up to the fence in the White House. Sometimes that's all it takes. One little bit, one little visual. You got me with that.
Thank you.
He rolls everywhere. He rolls everywhere. Does Arnie?
That's his new bike.
It's his way.
I'm gonna vote for Gary. I think I want to see the whole gang back together doing stuff.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Gary, who are you going to vote for? You could have a tactical play here if you think about it.
Yeah, I know, but then I've already wrote down what I was going to vote for. So
all right.
But I could change it just to win. No,
it's true. It's true.
True. Now I'm going to go for Nat, just simply because I like the idea of, much like a prequel, like the pants getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. I quite like that. Kind of like no one mentions it, like nobody mentions the pants, but I like that. It's a very good visual, much like in the Rocky Horror Show. I quite like that for the pants.
All right, cool.
Thank you.
Very nice, very nice. Right then, there's no votes online. Everybody's quiet online. People are watching. There's just no votes. Oh well. Right then, let's move on then. Let's get going with the requels. Here we go.
So was that a tie? Did somebody tie?
Oh, sorry. I better tell you, Anna. I knew I was missing something. You know what you think? I missed something, but I'll keep going. Because
just trying to pull one over my eyes, aren't they?
Nat and Gary, you were tied.
Woo!
Tied in that.
He wishes tied together and whatever.
Don't be rude.
But it's not working.
Don't be it's not that kind of show. Right then, let's go on. It's still all to play for as we head into the requels.
All to play for.
So
I mean, what I should have done really, to be proper about it, I should have put that back up that says sequels and gone, Nat and Gary have tied that round and then gone, now it's all to play for and we'll move on to the requels.
Like
do you know what I mean?
Earlier, you could have just done that and no one would have known, but I mean, whatever.
I know. I just want to be professional, you know what I mean?
We all want that.
We do. I mean, special offer at Lush, 50% off Lush for the next 5 seconds. Quick, get it now. I've been up for a while. It's not been up. It's a one-time deal exclusive. It's not been up for a while. It's not been. It's gone. It's gone.
Oh, sad.
It's gone.
Missed it.
There we go. It's gone. Right then.
You've been sick. I like it.
Press the wrong fucking button then. Press the wrong fucking button.
You just want to be professional.
I know. Press the wrong one. Don't matter. Right then, requels. Here we go. Gary, you're going first this time, my friend. Are you up for this?
Well, I have peaked, haven't I? I mean, I said my prequel was better than my sequel, but I felt I did okay.
Don't worry, because in the history of the show, this is the point where nobody gives a shit anymore. So, we're not. Yeah,
it's quite liberating.
I'm going to reboot it, and it's just a different director, and that's what they say usually. And you're like, oh, all right. I want the same film, but everybody's eating ice cream, things like that, you know.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, for Pretty Woman, I literally said I just want Steve Buscemi to replace
Julia Roberts.
Julia Roberts. That was it.
Nice.
Yeah, it did win.
Everybody loved.
Everyone said no, that needs to happen, so they did vote for it. But
now it's been made. Right, go on then, Gary. Go for it.
It's going to be good.
Right, so my requel, basically, so given all the fantastic elements I've brought to this, I have run out of all them. So my requel is basically, they were thinking of doing this, weren't they? They were thinking of going back and rebooting it, and it's been muted like 10, 12 years ago. Nothing's ever happened. I'd like to, originally I thought to be silly, I thought Commando, like basically it's the same film, but just they're all wearing no underwear underneath the garment. And that might please. Obviously, it's the opposite to smaller underwear. It's no underwear, basically. But what I thought for my requel, just to sort of add to the mix, kind of thought like Chris Pratt as Matrix. Catherine Schwarzenegger is his wife, so it's Arnie's daughter in real life, playing Cindy. And then I'd quite like, so like they've got a son, I guess a little bit like, you know, some sort of left wing, off the cuff, off ball thing. And let me see who I've got playing. So Kevin Hart plays Matrix's son to Cindy. So if you're keeping up, and then Bennett does come back in this one. He's come back, but they've made him into like a RoboCop, like a Robo Bennett type of thing, and he comes back.
Right.
And the idea really is basically it's Matrix and Cindy, played by Catherine Schwarzenegger, going on a bit of an adventure. You know, making, you know, obviously the blew up shit. They've got the money from the canoe business now and the army surplus store, and they're basically just going to go about their business and just do what they want. Just kind of like be a Bennett type character. Bennett's come back. They've like rebooted him. They've kind of reprogrammed him, and he's trying to do good. He's trying to sort of undo all of the wrongs that happen in the film and the prequel and the sequel, and kind of like, you know, be the good guy in this one. I mean, he is about 74 now, so it might be a slow burner. The film I did originally try with Matrix being played by Sly, just because I knew that I'd piss Arnie off in the franchise was to come about. But I quite like the idea of, you know, all the flesh. Splattering fun and the one-liners from 1985. I like that, but just a bit more at a geriatric pace. I quite like that. Do you know what I mean? Like Matrix come back and he needs oiling. Like Chris Pratt's incontinent. You know, all that type of stuff. Just, you know, very sort of like shitting yourself, kind of like, instead of blowing things up, there's just a lot more toilet humor and like kind of like I said with the National Lampoon type thing. That
all
kind
right.
of.
Okay. Have you got any questions then, Eddie, on that for Gary?
Well, did you know that Ray Dawn Chong, who played Cindy, she scouted Chris Pratt and put him in her first film that she directed?
No, I didn't. Oh, there you go. You
So
didn't.
There you go.
So there's a big loop, and it came all the way around. So
And he's banging Annie's daughter as well. So that was.
Well, that's what I meant. Yeah, that's the
weird.
The little, yeah.
Or don't do it in that case. Yeah, just as a little backstory as well. I did look at one of these. You know, there's loads of these videos, isn't there, about 10 things you don't know about the film. And it went right back to Gene Simmons. It was actually wrote for Gene Simmons from Kiss.
Wow.
So his mate is the director. I've got his name again now.
Because it was originally an Israeli soldier.
Israeli soldier, correct? Yes.
Gene Simmons is Israeli.
And then Nick Nolte, and then Cindy was going to be played by Sharon Stone or Bridget Nielsen, and then the actual, they were going to name it after the knife because the knife have names. So the knives are Life Support System 1, LS1, Scorpion, and Commando. They're the names of the knives. So LS1.
Ah.
So yeah, so that's my army surplus stuff came from. But there you go.
Yeah.
I like all the coulda, woulda, shoulda sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I
was just out of interest with casting. I was reading the Back to the Future cast list yesterday who they were going to have as Doc Brown, and it's insane. Just every person you can think of was on there. I was like, what? Anyway, but that's not to do with
Catherine
this.
Hepburn.
Yeah, she was on there. Yeah. She was on there. She was going to be Jennifer Parker, and they went, she might be dead.
I don't watch that. I love Bringing Up Baby. A little bit more get up and go about it. A bit of vim. Yeah. Oh, come on, darling.
No.
Catherine Hepburn.
President Reagan.
I think I've shit my pants.
No. Catherine Hepburn. Catherine Schwarzenegger. Right, keep going.
That's a very good Reagan.
Questions. He can't do Reagan.
I don't have a question for that.
You don't have a question?
I don't have a question. It seems pretty. That seems like you've got it all planned out.
Yeah, I can't wait. To be fair,
Commando. Okay.
The with no pants on. Yeah, I like it.
Make a suggestion. Could you, you know how in the ill-advised remake of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory that Tim Burton did, where all of the Oompa Loompas were played by Deep Roy.
Yeah.
Could you find one actor to play every single like mercenary soldier?
That'd be brilliant.
Like, you know, there's just like dozens of guys coming out with more and more. If you just found one and just, it would be a lot of work for that actor.
Or we could flip it. We'd probably kill him, but we could flip it, couldn't we? We could do basically just Sylvester Stallone as Rambo getting blown up in the
perfect. Sylvester Stallone as Rambo as all of the mercenaries.
Yeah, that'd be great.
As the thousands of people, and Arnie's just blowing him away with
like
automatic weapons. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah,
with
I like it.
Testosterone fueled line. I just like the idea of the one-liners, but instead it just like them shit themselves. You know, just like that sort of like that memorable one-liners, but then just like he's letting off steam. Oh no!
He's letting off crap as well.
So every time they say a one-liner, they shit themselves.
You're so right. You know that, like he's dead tired. I had to let him go. You know, just
right? Okay.
Toilet humor in it.
He's dead tired and has shit himself.
You've got a different market there, so that's good. Right then, cool. Okay, Eddie, it's your turn, please, for your requel.
Okay. I like that.
This is brief, and I feel a bit better about it now because I've heard Gary's. Because I thought mine was too juvenile, but I think it's okay. It's virtually the same, but you know how in E.T. where they took the guns out and put walkie-talkies in, you know, and all that stuff. I want it to be the same, but everyone's gun is replaced by their own dick, because that's what this film is essentially. So, and I've written here, same, but everyone's gun is their own dick, like I assume is in the original script. It feels like it was written that way, and so I want that extra layer of studio interference peeled back to reveal the dick.
Okay, cool. Questions?
Are the knives also going to become dicks as well as the guns? Is it simply any weapon going to be
any
a dick?
offensive weapon? Yeah, I mean the grenades are going to be dicks. Just chucking dicks at people and then they blow up.
Like proper dicks, like a bag of dicks.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit. I don't know if you've seen Big Mouth, but the hormone monster has a lot of penises that just follow him around and help him. So it's going to be loosely like that. But yeah, it will be just basically a large Santa's sack of dicks.
Nice. Mine loosely on discharge for excessive flatulence was loose, but bag of dicks. I mean that.
So then they go into the dick shop and he's fumbling around for the secret button and the door goes, now we're talking, and there's just, you know, like really heavy duty dicks all over the wall. She's stood there with a big dick on her shoulders and fires it off backwards and everyone goes, and then big knob comes out and smashes into the armored car and he's fine for some reason. It's all just
based in Amsterdam, this one.
No, just wherever. This was it, California, I think it was. Yeah, California. Bits of California like that.
All right, cool. Right then, any more questions?
Yeah, is the odd sort of tit in it? You know, because it's very like cockhead.
It's not going to be. Well, no, there'll be the same two in that scene where he's fighting the huge bloke and they break in, and it appears that the woman is taking him from behind.
Well, it
there appears to be a pegging scene happening, which is fine, but it's just an odd choice.
Also, it looks to me like the filming. I'd have to go back and look at that scene in depth.
Of course,
it looks like the filming of a porn movie in the hotel room because there's lights and thingies up at the side.
It's a really strange scene. Yeah,
I thought, it happened. I watched it on telly. I didn't bother rewinding it, but. I thought, hang on, there were actual film lights there in the shot,
like studio lights in shot.
I picked up stuff like that, as you'll remember with the last time with Arnie the airbag in Twins. The airbag goes off when the car falls on the thing, and they just left it in the film. next shot anyway. But I'm sure I might have to have a look and just see. But
I know we shouldn't. We don't normally ask questions of you, Chris, but just a quick one. Was it a tough wank?
oh, I mean, I've got my notebook with me, Gary, and I'm like that, writing my stuff, and then you think, you're gonna.
I will crack on after this.
But but I do believe,
especially when I saw the lights, I was like, "Oh, come on,
Hollywood!
You've ruined the magic." That's what happened with the airbag last week, though. I was like, there was an airbag in the car, like that.
Yeah, but in this one, the couple are going at it doggy style, but the lady is in the top position, so that's fun.
Yeah.
I mean, you clearly saw more of that than me with the lights, so I was looking in the wrong place.
You were sort of going, what's going on with the mise en scène? And I'm like, is she bumming in?
Where's that a crew member?
You did allude to it being very homoerotic, so they've just left that.
It is. Even the heterosexual sex is sort of kink. So what a progressive film. Well done.
It was 1985, this one.
And I'm making it more progressive by having erect penises firing bullets.
Do you know what? I thought you were going to say that, and I'm making it more progressive by currently having an erect penis talking about it.
No, I'm not doing that. No.
Well, I assume everybody's Commando.
Oh, yeah. I assume everyone's erect at all times.
Right then, Nat, it's your turn.
Yeah, okay.
Requel, please.
All right. So what struck me about watching the original, which I'd never seen until last night, and like I said, thoroughly enjoyed, had a great time, was the piece of physical perfection that is Arnold Schwarzenegger. And they don't mess about showing you. I mean, he's carrying logs. He's in a tiny pair of shorts, having a great time. So I thought I would really love to refilm this in Barnsley and have just a normal Barnsley bloke be Matrix. So completely opposite to the physical perfection that we see. So essentially the original upset between Bennett and Matrix is going to be caused because Matrix got the last slow cooker from Aldi in that middle aisle. And Bennett's really angry about it. And then we have like a chase essentially / fight through Barnsley because Bennett steals the slow cooker and holds it for ransom until Matrix either says, you can have the slow cooker or you can give me the money for it, basically. So it's the slow cooker, not Jenny, that gets stolen because, things from Aldi's middle aisle, they're very important. And it's between two really unfit 30-year-old Barnsley guys. But they're called Matty and Benno, not Matrix and Bennett. And that's what it is. That's what happens. Things that get blown up are things like the local corner shops, the Morrisons, the bus station. There's a fight in the bus station. So that's essentially
what I'm not posh.
Exactly. I want to refilm it, and because it's been done in Barnsley, honorary Yorkshireman Sean Bean is going to be in it and going to get killed off in the first. Like the awful character who he drops off the cliff, who like refers to women as Flash and is just generally a horrendous human being. I want Sean Bean to be. Yes, that guy. I want Sean Bean to be that character, but just not quite as as horrible. I want him to get dropped off of the top of a coal heap.
Nice.
That's what I want.
Yeah, all right. I can visualize that. Like, you bastard. Like that.
I had to let him go like that.
Your Wednesday fun, bastard.
Right.
I already have my question.
Oh, go for it then.
Are we, as far as casting goes, is one or possibly both of them going to be played by Full Monty era Mark Addy?
Well, I was relying heavily on the cast of the Full Monty, to be honest, to prop up the film. So Mark Addy will be Matrix. Because I think it's wonderful. Sean Bean is one of the henchmen, as we know. But then I thought, let's have some Yorkshire gravitas in Bennett, and let's bring in Patrick Stewart because
you're going to say Alan Bennett.
No, not Alan Bennett. Not quite that.
Alan Bennett as Bennett.
Just doing the portrait.
I have to say that slow cooker was mine. You big twat.
I think that's just too overtly gay, and as we all know, Bennett can't be overtly gay.
No.
And I know Patrick Stewart isn't gay, but some people might accuse him of being as such because he's such a wonderfully flamboyant and fantastic actor. So yeah, I like Patrick Stewart. He'd have to rough it up a bit. Like, I want him to have a proper Yorkshire accent. I'd like him to be Bennett. Exactly. I'd like him to be Bennett. I think he could handle the action scenes as well. Yeah.
Would it be stood up, or would he be in a wheelchair? Because that's kind of his thing now, isn't it?
What, being in a wheelchair? Oh no, he'd have to stand up. Sorry, mate.
I don't know if I do that.
3 films.
I did. Yeah. He'd have to stand up, and I think that he'd be able to get away from
10 years on Star Trek while standing up.
He was sat in Captain's chair, wasn't he?
He was in the Captain's chair for a lot of it.
He always sat down. They call him Lazy Patrick on a set, you know. He's always sat down. He gets his stunt double to do all walking around.
It's because he's done Shakespeare. He can fucking sit down everywhere.
Yeah. All his Shakespeare, he sits down when he's doing Macbeth. Everything. He's all just sat in a chair.
He only ever plays the kings, so he can have a throne.
Romeo and Juliet, sat on a bench under the balcony, all that stuff.
He played the nurse in Romeo and Juliet because she sat down a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't got the budget to provide either a stunt double nor a wheelchair, so he's going to have to stand up.
Well, I don't know, to be honest. It makes it less plausible now, Nat, now you said that. I mean, I'm not being harsh during this because it's like isn't it? But
I know that sometimes Chris gives out his vote on what he thinks would be the most likely one. Sometimes he goes, do you know what? I bet such and such a studio would actually do that. I don't think he's had to worry about that too much on this episode. Sometimes he does. Sometimes he does do that. And I was just wondering, I'm like, is it at this point that Chris suddenly goes, I'm not that stupid now? I
am amazed you've not picked up on some stuff tonight. I really am. It's the first time where I've thought, I thought they might have picked up on like more of the wife missing from the story and all that. I thought, they might go there, but you didn't. But it's funny because
I don't believe John Matrix ever had the slightest bit of interest in any woman ever. I'm reading the slash version of it, I'm afraid. Yeah.
I have got a question for Nat. Is that all right?
Go on.
Yeah.
Just being based in South Yorkshire, I mean, it's unfair really not to include this. Hopefully you have put this in your notes, like I have. I'm just wondering, how would the pit closures affect the plot of the film?
Well, I'm just going to check my notes because I did do quite a lot on that. So it's obviously set. Was it in 1985 or 1995? This because 85. So that's right in the middle of like Margaret Thatcher, the unions, all of that stuff. So I think as well as having this whole sort of slow cooker from Aldi, I'm losing my job, it's very important that I get this cheap slow cooker thing. I think the whole big fight scene at the end actually could be quite interesting to do in the disused pit whilst they're being shouted at for being scabs for crossing the picket line, even though it's to kill each other over a slow cooker.
Yeah,
and then maybe at the end, we could have somebody punching Margaret Thatcher in the face.
Cool. Could they be doing that and then punch her again and say, that's for your stupid mate Reagan, the prick?
Well, I'll do that for you, Eddie. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I mean, all right, cool.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, we picked up on that.
I'm so glad I forgot that I'd written that down. I'm so glad you reminded me.
Hey,
I'll tell you what. Did anybody speaking of picking up on things? Did anybody hear how loud his fucking timer was on his watch? Right, it goes on his timer on his watch twice, and it goes beep. It's really loud. It's like
wow.
It's like it's counting down, and it's going beep beep. Commando. It's supposed to be like I'm in the shadows and all that. Yeah, he's got the loudest timer on his watch ever. And I got another one as well. If I were doing this, if I were playing along, I'd have called one of mine COMMANDO, because the amount of times they're getting a different car in this film seemed a lot to me. But anyway,
excessive. Yeah.
One more thing. When he jumped out of the plane, when he's under the thing and he jumps out into that water, I'm sure there's a sound effect of broken glass.
I didn't notice that, but I did notice that he lands in about a mug of water.
Yeah.
So shallow.
There's loads of water there, and he just hits the side bit, and it's like
near the jetty, innit? It's near the jetty. Yeah. It's all explained in the plot.
In the book, the novelization.
I like incredible because he lands with his legs spread out like someone playing on a trampoline, like boing, boing, and he's just sat there, and he just goes, gets up, and he's like, more wet.
They didn't do a great job, did they, of making his stunt double look like him either? I don't think. No. There were times when it was blatantly his stunt double in a wig.
Brilliant. Wig on. I'll just tell you what I did. We didn't pick up on as well. Was one of my favourite things is, you know, the inflatable sort of men in the shopping mall where he sort of like rides down it like a zip line. And I think that's got to be like, you know, an action movie set in like a kids' play area. I think that I was tempted to do my Requel there, to be fair. But
well, you've got a little bit in Jingle All the Way where he goes down into is in the mall and he goes into ball pool and all that. And through. So maybe an extended version of that. But it's too late now. It's all over.
We've done it right. Jingle All the Way and Commando at the same time, they sync up.
Commando All the Way.
Commando All the Way.
Right. Is that like the old animation films where they just rehash the animation?
yeah.
Hey, I'll tell you what. There's
it's like Baloo dancing in the Jungle Book.
I'm sure there's a bit in True Lies as well where he's in the mall on a horse.
On a horse?
I can't remember that bit.
Sure.
It's been ages since I saw it.
Or just outside, isn't it? Yeah.
One of those mall horses. Oh, yeah.
Mall. I'm going to do a supercut of all the mall films, just put them all together, all action. Just call it Action Mall. Action Mall. More mall than you can handle. Right then, let's do this.
Be back. Oh, and he says I'll be back in this one as well, doesn't he?
He does, yeah.
He says it in all of them, doesn't he? Yeah. I'll be back, Benny. There's a bit of a delay when he says stuff in this film as well, I always think. Like as if they hadn't edited the film, you know, for his kill lines. They've left it a bit too long in the edit. Yeah. There's a really weird line, even that bit where he goes, by the way, and there's like it's too long now. Yeah. I'll be back. And you're like, what?
He couldn't speak English, could he, in these films, remember? This is 85 post Conan the Barbarian and Terminator. So they had to, like, I think, to be honest, if it had Gene Simmons and Nick Nolte in, I think it would have been a bit of a longer script for him.
Right.
Really shut down. He doesn't have much dialogue, really, does he? There's not a lot.
But I forgot about my favourite bit. My favourite bit at the start where he pushes the car down the hill, jumps in it, right, and then somehow defies all logic. He gets back behind after going past the cars once, and they're on a windy road. Yet he's going straight down. He gets back behind them.
Yeah,
fucking stupid. I mean, if you want a good example of a car on a windy road is Bond film For Your Eyes Only, where he goes down, because all that's in sync with the time. You know, I'd see these things and I go, oh, come on.
I think they had more money with that than they did with Commando.
Yeah.
Well, they did have more money, didn't they? But they blew it on the blowing people up. So
yeah, they did. They blew it. Literally, they blew it up. They blew the money up. The cell phone exploded and the case of money just went. They're like, oh no! What are you doing?
They left the budget in one of those barns he blows up when he first arrives on the island.
Yeah. Same as his daughter's in, probably.
Yeah, we better vote here. We better vote.
Yeah,
right.
vote.
Okay, Requels then. Here's your recap.
About with this film.
I know. Here's your recap. Let's do it. Right, Gary's was Commando. Gary's Chris Pratt as Matrix. Catherine Schwarzenegger as Cindy. Son played by Kevin Hart. Bennett's now like a RoboCop type figure. Matrix and Cindy go on an adventure. I've just wrote that. I don't know why. Is that what you said?
He did say that. Yeah.
Bennett's been reprogrammed. Then there's a bit of a slower pace to the film, and there's loads of toilet humour. Eddie's was all the guns are replaced by their own dicks, basically. The soldiers' own dicks, or Arnie's own dick, or Benedict's dick. Nats was it's refilmed basically the film in Barnsley with normal blokes. One called Matty, one called Benno. There's an upset from them both because Matty got the last slow cooker from Aldi. So they fight their way through the mean streets of Barnsley. Stuff blows up. Sean Bean's in it as that henchman guy that he throws him off a pit now.
Yeah, off a
big pile of coal.
And then Sean Bean's in it. Mark Hardy. Patrick Stewart plays Bennett. All right, let's vote.
I enjoyed Gary's, but I don't believe in giving Chris Pratt work. So I'm voting for Nat because I do believe in giving all of those actors work.
Okay.
And I enjoyed it.
Thanks, Eddie.
No, it's all right. I've got no problem with you giving him work. I just don't want to be party to it. That's all. It's
all right.
Free world, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is. Bag of dick.
Yeah, I'm going to vote for Nats as well because it's kind of I like the casting.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, like it, and it's set in Barnsley.
Yeah, I'm going to go for Nat as well. I like the idea of sort of war on Wombwell. You know, just sort of on the back of the Pennards there and the valleys. I quite like that. See what happens. On the because it's only one bus away from Meadowhall, so I quite like the danger that could happen. I might go shopping halfway through. I like it, Nat. Well done.
All right,
thank you very much. This is a tough one, but literally, I'm going to be honest. What song it was? It was the Dicks. It was the Dicks. Just the thought of watching that film again, but everything being Dicks.
I mean, it's going to be difficult to not watch it and imagine everything being Dicks from now on.
Yeah. I just think that's an interesting experiment that I'd really like to see.
Probably an adult film, isn't it? Commando or something like that.
Commando dildo? No.
Command me.
Right then, let's have a look. Nat, you've won that round. You won the Requels. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Which means tonight on Prequel, Sequel, Requel, Nat, you've won the entire show. You've actually won. You've won in every round tonight, and then you won the final round.
Very much.
So,
she drew one of them.
I drew two.
She drew in two, but what I mean is she did win in each section anyway. But, you know, I'd have added it up. She'd have won, you know. Anyway, right. So yeah, well done, Nat, for winning. Big thank you to Gary for coming in to see us tonight.
Gary, you've been amazing.
You were a treat, Gary. You were a treat.
You were.
Put that on your CV. A treat. Prequel, sequel, Requel.
I feel like it's better than some of the slander.
We've all had bad reviews, haven't we? Let's be honest.
I'm not good enough to have one, to be honest. I'll take that.
Have you got anything you'd like to tell? You'd like to plug or anything? This is where we do as plugs.
Yeah, my friend works at B&Q and he's just knocked off some plugs. So if you do want some plugs, basically, the retail at $4.99, and it's the ones he's got gold or silver chains, and it's normally the $9.99 with the enamel on. So I'll do them for £4.
Nice, very nice. And tell everybody about Gary and Jeddy Bear's picnic as well.
Yeah, so if you do want to see me non-sweary and entertain children, I'm but, you know. Jeddy Bear and Gary's picnic. So we're doing all sorts of stuff, book readings, we're doing daft shows, and we're in the Leicester Comedy Festival as well in a couple of weeks. So that'll be fab. And Gary J Comedy is my stuff online as well. So no, just being a real treat. Just nice to. I was going to say nice to get out of the house, but I haven't been out. Still in the house.
I'm in the house.
Yeah, I'm still in the house, in my kitchen. But no, thank you. Right. It's been brilliant. Hopefully, you'll have me back in 2025.
We'll have you back. We're building up people who liked it and people who didn't. So we've got the ones who people never reply to us again. So that's good. But yeah, Nat, have you got anything to plug this week?
I haven't. I keep saying it's coming, but I haven't. I still haven't sorted out the YouTube channel. Please don't judge me. Don't look at me with your judgy face, Lumb.
Any offers on Smellies?
No offers on Smellies because we're not even open, are we?
No. So I mean, you know, Nat's doing a YouTube channel, Gary. She keeps mentioning it every week. It's just not here. It's just not here yet. I mean, YouTube's going to be over by the time it comes out. This channel.
YouTube's going to be over. The apocalypse will have happened.
unless you hit it at the exact right time and you get all the views ever in the world. It's gonna be either one way or the other, isn't it? It's gonna go either way. So yeah, we'll look out for that. Eddie, what have you got for us this week?
This week, as usual, I See News and Fire Breathing Kittens podcast. Also, Jessica Jumpers. My girlfriend got me a new hat, and it has got a cat on it with some moons. It's got this little naughty kitten tongue sticking out like a naughty. So,
you just have a bit of pussy on your beanie, eh? Sorry, Eddie.
Eddie, you can't do that face when you just told us that your Requel has doing dicks.
I was playing the irony card. Yes. Yes. No. Nice. JessicaJumpers.co.uk or Jessica Jumpers on Instagram.
Is that somebody you know, or is it just?
Yeah, it's someone my girlfriend Emma knows, and
cool.
So that's someone who does nice things. They do naughty stuff as well. Look at that.
Oh no! Oh no! We don't advertise smut on this channel. Oh my god!
So,
Chris,
so yeah, lots of fun stuff to be had there.
Good day, sir.
And the Discount Comedy Checkout Improv Show, which is a podcast, which will be coming out as soon as
Apple gets its ass in gear and puts it out there.
Yeah.
The fuckers.
The internet allows.
Yeah, basically, every other platform has gone, oh yeah, we'll put that out. When are you ready? And we're like, well, we're just waiting for Apple. Why are you waiting for Apple? Well, 47% of all fucking podcast traffic goes through them, so we would like to wait till everyone can get it on their preferred platform. And you will, as soon as it comes out. You'll be getting 6 episodes all at once on the day it drops, and then every week after that. And we've got a big, thick, slick wad of them waiting to enter
sexy.
you.
Very sexy.
Oh, right, cool. So look out for that. Obviously, what have I got? Usual stuff this week for me. Tomorrow night, What's the Score radio show on Box Office Radio. Put your request in for that. I'll do them week after. Show's ready. I've got some music from Rambo tomorrow and things. A few bit different things. So a bit of Stallone. Lord of the Rings.
Singing it.
Who will like it?
Annie won't like that.
I know, I did it on purpose. Yes, have a listen to that. What else have I got? I can't remember what other tracks I've got. I've got all sorts. Have a look at that. Then Saturday, it's All Geek to Me with Rich and Nathan, 8 o'clock. We're doing a retrospective on Solo of all things this week as well, so that'll be fun.
Ooh,
so
nice.
Rip that to bits.
It's easily rippable to bits.
Exactly. Other than that, Prequel, Sequel, Requel, 8 o'clock, Monday nights. We're here. Come and have a bit of fun with us. Gary will ask Gary back if he can come back.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Back on. You were a treat, sir. One more time for Gary. Thank you for coming in.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
What are we doing next week? End of days?
I don't know. We'll try and dig up another round. I tell you what, it might be True Lies next week. Might be.
I love True Lies.
Yeah. Seen it for a while. Right then, cool. So let's say goodnight, everybody. And we'll see you again next time for another Prequel Sequel. Everybody wave.
Good night, everybody.
Night, everybody. Bye.
Night, everyone.